Tuned into the boom room, the livest show in fantasy. Yeah. Welcome to host Walt, Igler, Beat It Fantasy League. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, rocking with the best. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, roster is a mess. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, in it for the checks. Welcome to the boom room, had to get in tune, in it for respect. Few things to address. G5 to keep fly.
Welcome to the boom room. Hey, listen, what an exciting week, and I can't wait. Wait, before we talk about it, got a little something for y'all. Lord, did y'all know Brian got his own Henny now? That's what's already pre-poured. I want to show it to y'all. I mean, over your little Brian. I'm gonna let that sit up here for y'all. Check it out. I ain't had Henny in a minute. Let me sample it. I'm gonna give y'all the real. Smell good. It's nice, not too strong. The taste don't go down as hard as normal Henny. Okay, Brian, you might got one. Now, let's talk about it. First up, TNT versus the higher power. Eagles defense. Woo! Bijan Robinson. That's about it. Listen, TNT didn't play that much better of a game. Got away with a victory. See y'all next week. Down on 2. Return to the Jedi versus the Jabronis. I gotta be fair and I gotta be honest. Keeping Olave in your lineup. And then the Jabronis counter that and get no points from their defense. And I'm like, is Dame gonna pull this shit off again? Fast forward to Sunday. Dame is laying an egg aside from Saquon Barkley. And Jay and Daniels get hurt. And I know Jabronis is like, you gotta be effing kidding. You gotta be kidding. But it wasn't enough. Jabronis did what he had to do to get the victory. It probably was the right result. Boom. Now on 2. Whooping that ass versus Body Bag. This game was over from the coin toss. Body Bag had 5 players score at least 21 points, including the Rams defense, Tank, and Jordan Love. You ready for this? He had 10 touchdowns. 10. Right now, Body Bag, you looking good. Whipping that ass. I guess if you're going to lay an egg, it's the game to do it. Boom. Next up, Lincoln Legends versus Machiavellians. Listen, does Tone have an inside source with Tampa Bay? I mean, because now he plays White and he went off after playing Tucker last week. Him going off. Unfortunately, he ran into just a bad matchup this week. And what I mean by that is Lincoln Legends he one of them guys. And you knew coming off last week, he was going to put up a strong performance and be a tough team to beat. Look, Legends, I tip my cap to you coming back with a professional victory. Machiavellians. Next up, Arizona Ron versus Negro. This is their first meeting since the trade. Question, is Derrick Henry Fantasy's MVP so far? Maybe. Listen, Arizona Ron looked like he had this game locked up in the fourth quarter, up double digits against Negro. And are you ready for this? Derrick Henry scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. He scored 19 points over the span of about 8 minutes. 81-yard run. Touchdown catch. 40-something yard run. He put Negro on his back and led him to victory and led him to, guess what? The best record in the Beat It Fantasy Football League. Nice win, Negro. Now on to the game of the week. It didn't disappoint. This probably was one of the most exciting games in years. El Kajinos, G5. We had Mills Lane here talking about, let's get it on. Listen. Up 30. El Kajinos was up 30 going into Monday night with Irvin, the running back from Tampa, and Tampa's kicker versus Lamar and Godwin. Personally, I thought Kajinos had the slight advantage. Let's go to the highlights. Listen, what a game. Back and forth. Lamar Jackson, listen, he is the most exciting player in football. He is just so fun to watch. Oh, man. I find myself looking at the TV like, look at this guy. Like, it must be so much fun to be a Ravens fan and watch that guy play. Now, back to the action. Lamar Jackson went berserk. He went off. 49 points, 5 touchdowns. Would it be enough? Listen, Irvin did his thing, swerving like Irvin. Let's set it up. We get into the last 4 minutes. Nip and tuck, 2-point game. Listen, it's 4th down. Kajinos look like they're good. What? The Ravens going for it? What? I know guys like, what do you mean you're going for it? You're up multiple scores. Why are you going for it? Not only do they go for it, but Lamar throws it for his 5th touchdown, giving G5 the lead for the first time. Oh. Still time left. Boom. Here comes Kajinos. They come back down. They cut the lead to less than 1. Right? They got the Buccaneers kicker. Right? And Tampa goes for 2. I know Kajinos like, you gotta be kidding me. But the math was right. They had to go for 2. They were down 18. They had to get it to 16. Oh. Listen. Lamar does his thing. Gets some points. Puts the lead up a little bit more. Tampa gets the ball back. And Bucky isn't in the game, so you think it's over. Onside kick. The Buccaneers recover the onside kick. Who recovers the onside kick? Bucky's out there. They drop down. Touchdown. Kajinos cut the lead to less than 4. Let's go. Tampa Bay still has all 3 timeouts. Wait a minute. 3 and out. 3 and out. Baltimore punts. Here we go. Here we go. I know Kev had to be standing up like, yo. And Bucky is not in the lineup. He's not in the lineup. Come on, Todd Bowles. The theater that we had here. You robbed us of theater, Todd Bowles. Listen, what a game. I'm exhausted talking about it. Listen, Kajinos G5, game of the year. Game of the year. G5 holds on. But here's a question I have. G5, would you rather have 1 or still have Godwin? Boom. Boom. Listen, this is delicious. We're going to do the tiers this week. And I know it's not just me. I want to be very clear. I have a panel that I run this by. It's 5 people, and we come to a consensus. So I don't want you to be like, here's TNT being biased again. No. And I actually stick up for you guys at times. Now, having said that, let's get to the tiers at the halfway point. And remember, this isn't the standings. It's what you've done and projection going forward. Once again, shout out to Nick Wright. Boom. Okay. The name of the first tier we're going to call It's Getting Late Early. And there's one team in that tier, and that's Machiavellians. Now, granted, he's only 2 games out of, I think, the 6th seed. So it's 2 playoff spots that's 2 games ahead of him. However, his next 4 games is Body Bag and then 3 teams from my division. That's a tall order, and the committee is like, he's got a lot to overcome. I really can't argue that. So Mac is getting late early. Down to alive, but we don't believe. These teams are alive in good position, but the committee doesn't believe in them. And I think at this point would say these teams are more likely to miss the playoffs than make them. First up, 5. He's been hit by the injury bug a little bit. Committee just really didn't like his team. Injuries really hurt him. And with the Godwin injury happening this week, he has a real uphill battle and really not many assets to sell. Arizona Ron is also on this list. The committee is kind of confused. They was just like, he lost McCaffrey early on and he really didn't do anything to address it aside play the waiver wire. They liked the Kareem Hunt sign, and they thought if Kareem Hunt was guaranteed the job for the rest of the year, he might not be here. But they just think the effort, they just didn't feel it. Ready? Return of the Jedi was put on this level. I know. He's tied for first place, only a game behind the best record, but the committee said he hasn't scored more than 118 points in any game, and they're just perplexed at how he has 5 victories. Like, that's almost impossible. They were just like, at that rate, it's no way that this is a team that you can believe in. I really couldn't argue. Like, the data is the data, but 5 wins. He's kind of like the hardest thing for the committee with Return of Jedi being as though he already banked 5 wins. If he could find a way to get 3 more, he kind of almost is assured. So that was the sticking point, but they leaned more towards not believing because of the lack of scoring. One more team on this level, and that is El Kajinos. I know. I fought for you, El Kajinos. I really did. They really didn't like your depth. The Tyreek Hill thing, they thought you really took a beating. They like your team, but it's kind of like in the moment they said, nah, we like the other teams a little bit better. I was shocked. I fought for you, but they said this is where you belong right now. Okay, boom. Now, the next level is something's missing. And there's only one team on this level, and that's whooping that ass. I know. I was like, listen, this guy gets disrespected all the time. He has 5 wins. It's like, look, we don't know who it is. We're just looking at the roster. And I should say that. They don't know names or anything. All they do is look at the roster and everything that's going on. So, whooping that ass, the problem, they said, looks like a playoff team, but they thought the quarterback situation they couldn't make a case for you being able to win 3 playoff games. They felt like I would be surprised if he was able to win 3 straight games against high-level competition with his current quarterback situation. And that was the reason that they had whooping that ass on the something's missing line. But they really do like your team. Next up is the wild card line. There's only one team on the wild card line, and that's Lincoln Legends. Committee said he might be a player or 2 short at the moment, but it's a dangerous team. When wild card is like, it's not a team you really want to see on the other side. Playoffs come, it's a team that can get you. Might can't get 3 in a row, but they definitely good enough to knock off a top contender. So, depending on what happens going forward, the committee thought that this team is a live dog, so to speak. Next up is our contenders. Teams that the committee can definitely see winning 3 in a row. Teams that the committee think will be a problem. The teams on this list, let's start with TNT. They said the one thing stopping you from being at the very top echelon was Jordan Mason. They said if we knew that you can have Jordan Mason for the rest of the season, we feel as though you would be the team to beat. But we feel as though that running back situation might come back to hurt you a little bit, and we can't put you at the top of the pendulum. Respect. And for the record, when they discuss TNT, I don't get involved. Next up on the list on that level is jabronis. They really like jabroni teams, but they have a problem with his wide receiver situation. He's like, his running game is really strong, and that's going to make him a contender, a tough out. But is it enough to offset his wide receiver issue when it comes down to like the last 4 teams or a championship game? That was their only concern, and they felt as though it could be his Achilles heel. Next up on this list of contenders was Negro. I know what you're thinking. Best record, off to a good start. I asked him, and what was said about Negro was, if Stephon Diggs was the number 1 receiver, they would love this team and say this might be the team to beat. They thought Nico Collins being there could limit Stephon Diggs' ceiling. And it was like, then if we're going to say that, his wide receivers are okay. It's like he got 2 low-end wide receiver 1, high wide receivers 2. And when we get down to the nitty-gritty, they're going to be going against some big boys. But other than, they was like, that was the one thing stopping them. Boom. Last line. King of the Hill. The 2 teams that they said right now look like the teams to beat. First up, the higher power. They love his roster. They said, if healthy, this team should be making a deep run. This is a team they love. They love the quarterback. They love the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight end. There's nothing to complain about. Higher power, they thought, had the best roster. And joining him, I guess will be the showdown. Body bag. They love body bag team. They love his top end talent. They thought he had the money to go get whatever shortcomings he might have, and they said body bag, you got a lot of respect in that room. So there you have it. The tiers at the halfway point. Let's see how much they change in the next 3 weeks to a month. Boom. Hey, listen. There you have it. LeBron, man, this shit is delicious, man. Hey, listen, it only could be one game of the week. Y'all saw me on the smackboard quoting the great Bean. Nigga gonna talk about better Bean. Listen, man. Who the fuck want what? It's a bet, man. I'm gonna beat the fucking brakes off of you, homie. TNT, Negro, let's go.
In it for respect, few things to address. D5 think he fly, he the Jets. Always number 1, now opposite is Seth. Put JR in body bag, I must confess. Some owners play checkers, Kajinos play chess. Me, T, and do really like Clay, Dre, and Steph. Don't do too much talking, they still wanna press. The main ones just talking, they team don't impress.